Sir, I wanted to reconfirm how I am practicing Four Noble Truths. Sir. What I am doing is yesterday someone shouted at me that really irritated me. Actually, that was a real case, and that thought keeps coming to me again and again. When I sit on meditating on that, I can able to understand I am really suffering because of the thought coming to me again and again. There is um, bodily I can see uncomfortable, and also mentally I'm not okay. That is how I understood it is a dukkha. Then the reason when I investigate myself is, yeah, I am suffering because I am recognizing or with that words or oh, he's telling me I my ego has been really hurted here, and the reason I am seeing is there is a aversion about this. I don't want him to talk like this. uh, that is a tanaha. I am just relating to that. It should not happen to me, and he should not have done this. I don't want this. That is how I am trying to understand, apply the second noble truth. And the third one, yeah, it is really the ignorance what I have saying myself. I have been hurted, I have been shouted by someone. There is no real I. It is only a mind and matter and the process, and it's keep going, and thought is coming again, it evaluates, and I just again brought down by those thoughts, and I am keep on suffering. There is no real I. It's just happening. Then there is really a ignorance what I have built myself over a period of time about me. So that's how I am trying to understand. When I reflect that way, the impact has come down. It is not completely gone. I can see impact has drastically has come down. Is am I doing the right way of reflection and trying to apply the Four Noble Truth here, sir?
Yeah, I think so. The very fact that you say the impact has come down is a proof of that. One way could be that a still more deeper way could be that when you recollect that thing and you get unpleasant feelings, if you look at the feelings, that will be even more helpful. So you get unpleasant feelings in the body, in the mind. There are thoughts, processes. You shouldn't have said that. You should. So you sit with that rather than going yourself to the investigate to finding out the cause, which you've done once. So intellectually you understand. So what you can do is you can sit with the unpleasantness happening in the body and in the mind, and recognizing their impermanent nature.
Mhm.
Sit with that for as much time as is possible,
Mhm.
and wait for their impermanence to manifest
Possible.
in terms of it may increase, but it will eventually cease, since you are saying it is already on the waning part. So if you sit with that, then with a tranquil mind, the comparatively tranquil mind, the cause will become even more sharply clear, and then abandoning it will be possible. So generally, understanding itself, if it is allowed to come from within, if the idea, if the cause of suffering emerges from within, then it has a very quick and stronger effect. It's good to do in the light of Four Noble Truths and Tanha, and it's very good, certainly, it's very effective. But if that arises from within, oh yeah, this is the real problem. And it is focusing on the feelings. Somebody is saying something, there are words which are unpleasant, and they cause an unpleasant feeling. And then we react to them. So if you break it further into feeling and reaction, then it will become even more effective.
Sir, you're saying let it happen naturally rather trying to bring these four
Hmm?
elements on my own. That is right, sir?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. But even bringing it in on your own is helpful. It's not nothing wrong in it. But if it happens in the process of observation, naturally the mind calms down and then it calms, then it is better. It is more influential, more effective.
Mm.
See, some degree of calmness of the mind is necessary for investigation to be effective,
Mm.
for abandoning the reasons, tanha. A degree of calmness is necessary. So that's why we say practice of samadhi helps in developing samadhi tree. Samadhi develops panya, panya develops samadhi. So if you have a background of calmness, then it becomes
we get into right views.
more effective. Yeah.
So, how can I really this Yoniso Manasikara? How can I really understand apply here? So that
This is
part
what
I
you're
did.
doing, na? This is what you're doing, going to the root of suffering rather than focusing on the person and telling that he should not have done it. This is the kind of thoughts that are coming, but you're not allowing those thoughts to dominate your mind. You're looking at the root that, of course, people will keep on saying, not just he, anybody and everybody will keep on saying so many things.
Yes, yes.
So the real cause is the identity with the perception of me as a good person, or me as a person who should not be criticized or it should not be told off. So when you calm down the mind, then the investigation becomes even more deeper. One can see, okay, he criticized me or shouted at me. Why did he shout at me? That will become evident, and that whether I deserved that shouting at me or not, those kind of deeper questions come to the forefront. So one can see that, yeah, probably what he said was true, but he spoke in a very harsh tone. So then the impact is even deeper, because then we recognize our own weakness in some deeper sense. So it depends on situation. Each situation, the person may be speaking which is correct, or he may be speaking totally wrong things. He may be telling a lie, but he may be telling a truth which is very painful for us to recognize. So all those kind of distinction becomes possible when the mind is calm down.
Yeah.
So therefore, initially the impact, absorbing the impact and allowing it to calm down is very helpful.
Yeah, you're right, sir. That is also my same experience. The context he was coming is right, but the way he said wasn't okay actually.
So then the impact will be immediately reduced. Once I recognize that what he was saying is right, of course, but he spoke very rudely, then you say, anyway, it doesn't matter. Speaking rudely is his problem, but at least he told me something which I should be careful about. Isn't it? So you get a totally different response, and then the thing drops off. Then you will not develop aversion towards him to such an extent as it would have been if you had not recognized the validity of his statement. Normally, the harshness of the tone obscures the validity of the statement. Good, very good. Compliments.
Thank you, sir.
So Darsab, in terms of process, across these 3 or 4 steps, however you understand it, really, technically, if you break it down, what's the difference between what Prakash said and what you said? Where did it differ? Maybe what I request you is to start from stand under and then come until
when we
Pahan.
stand under it and wait for this natural process to evolve, mind to calm down by reducing the impact, then the cause of suffering emerges from within rather than from intellect, rather than from pariyatti. It emerges from patipatti. So then it has a deeper, the practice shows that it has a quicker and more effective resolution of the problem. Because when we intellectually analyze, we can't many times see things. For example, as I must admire it, he mentioned that, yeah, the statement which is being said was true, but it was spoken very badly, very rudely. Now, that kind of a thing will be missed out. You get focus on the crudeness and all, but once the mind is calm and comparatively calm and quiet, then you can see, उसने कहा क्या, ये कहा, बात तो सच्ची थी, but he spoke in a manner which is insulting and rude. So then the distinction is so clear. Once you make a distinction of that kind, तो फिर उसका impact खत्म हो जाता. Then the aversion towards that other person is drastically cut down. Because you now focus only on the form of saying, not on the content. So इस तरह की चीजें बड़ी helpful होती हैं अगर हम mind को calm करके investigate करें, rather than investigate with an agitated mind. ये उसमें भी कहना चाहिए था, जैसे उसमें क्वेश्चन में भी पूछा था ना पायल ने शायद कि वो तो अबंडन नहीं होता, वो इसका कारण ये है कि बेसिक लेवल ऑफ कामनेस नहीं है माइंड में. हम उसको माइंड हमेशा एजिटेटेड रहेगा तो फिर वो इन्वेस्टिगेट उस डेप्थ तक नहीं हो पाता, क्योंकि जब हम when you're standing under the suffering, we stand till it reveals the truth, rather than our intellect telling us, because intellect will be able to fathom out not to that depth as a calm mind will fathom.
I see. So it's mainly a question of giving it enough time, as long as it takes for the tanha to become apparent on its own, versus based on my understanding for me to so investigate and look for what tanha there was and so forth.
That is more effective, that is less effective, but that also is effective.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because one may not have the patience or the time or the mind state to
Correct,
be able to
of course.
sit with it for long periods
Of course. And sometimes it might take like really long.
Yeah. If thing is very subtle, and it's not easy to figure out why I'm not wanting to do this and not do that. It's pretty subtle.
So that is possible when you are doing meditation. We can do that. Maybe on day-to-day life, like morning to evening, in our general office hours, I think we can quickly do that part, and maybe sit on meditation, then wait for natural course to happen and arise, knowledge arise.
Yeah. Certainly. So whenever an event happens in our day-to-day life, whenever is our next meditation session, that's why it is said it's so important to meditate morning, evening. So important. Because then we dispense the thing very quickly. If you meditate once in a while, only when there is emergency, you will not be able to do anything. So I'm going to office and there has been an incident in the office. I come back home at night and I remember, oh, what happened in tonight today? He said this happened, and then I see, let me investigate. Now I sit, I first calm down the mind for 10 minutes, and then I see, let me investigate what happened today. And I sit, I recall the event, and the mind goes bonkers again, body starts getting into trouble, and I now have the freedom to sit. Now I can sit with it for considerable time, and then figure out, oh, really, this was the problem. It was not the truth of the statement, it was the tone of the voice. Hey, that's okay. Some people have that kind of a habit pattern. That is his problem. But at least he has been able to point out something to me, which is revealing my shortcomings. So gratitude, great thanks. So the whole picture changes if we can see that way. It's very true. I may not be able to do it right away and have such strong samadhi or practices. In fact, if it is such strong, the anger will not arrive in the first place. So when the fire is on, it may not be possible to douse it immediately, but just by intellectual reflection on the cause, second and third noble truth, it acts like a balm and calms down sufficiently. That's very true.
So actually, you are saying investigate, but in effect, you are not actively investigating, isn't it? You are just waiting.
As Prashad, yeah, as a friend is mentioning, during that time, it's not possible that
No,
fire is arising.
now we're talking about the next one. We're talking. So I'm asking you what are you saying that's different from what he's saying? So actually, what you're saying is, even though you're using the word investigate, in fact, there is no active mental action in that direction. The only active action is to not dissipate attention to any object other than the discomfort.
Yeah, it presumes that I'm aware of the whole teaching.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right.
Otherwise, what will I
That's the
do?
problem. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not aware of the teaching. I'll just
Exactly.
flounder.
Yeah.
So
So in that,
there's an intention behind calming down the mind, and then I'll find out what is the real cause of something. So I shut down. I'd say, okay, Buddha says do this, and now mind is calming down. Yeah, let's see now with calm mind. Now it may reveal, or I may now with calm mind I'll be able to figure out more. Yeah.
well, yeah, but again, and I'm going to push this point a little bit. The process you are suggesting, which is a finer one, now has the presumption that the pariyatti base is actually quite strong, so strong that without applying thought, in effect, that will so to say the answer will come. So to say,
yes, that my understanding of the Dhamma is so strong that will reveal itself. Even the finer nuances will come out. Once the mind is calmed down, it will come out. Oh, this is the real problem. And this is because I know suffering is happening. It is happening because of tanha. I don't need to really remember कि तन्हा है, उसके कारण suffering है. मुझे सब मालूम है, सब clear है. So if I've understood the whole teaching properly, then it naturally works. The mind gets oriented in that direction naturally. Of so what you call as investigation, active investigation, or reflection, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, at that stage, it does that action based on the intention. But actually, at any stage or at a point prior to that, in effect, after the intention, you will still have to apply directed thought.
It depends really. Sometimes the processes are so complex that you have to apply. Sometimes it becomes quite evident. You know, I from my experience, I can see. Sometimes it becomes very evident. Sometimes processes are too much complex because there are multiple factors operating. Then your own factors from the surrounding, then you have to kind of sift it out. Then one has to, even for figuring out what is the cause, one has to wait and figure out if this is the cause, or this is the cause, or this is the cause. There can be competing causes. All of them may have validity in some sense, but this may be more prominent. That am I doing this out of concern for others? Am I doing this since I internally feel so? Am I doing this because if I do this, what will people think? You know, there are so many complex things. I'm actually investigating them at this moment. So I can see there are competing things which are there. So we have to really figure out. And then the more the teaching of the Buddha is clear, the more you are able to come to a conclusion rapidly.
Yeah. So it is in fact a continuum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe what Prakash ji mentioned, or what we have deduced, the way you described it in this video is actually the application of active, applied, investigation, asking oneself, and then to the extent that one has knowledge, understanding, information, to that extent one is able to identify 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever are the tanhas. And then a more refined state is that you've done that so many times that eventually it begins to, so to say, appear on its own once the unpleasantness has subsided.
Basically, it is the truth of samadhi, clarity of mind, showing you things very clearly. When the mind is muddled up, investigation becomes difficult. You know, in the fine sense, in the core sense, you can do, of course. I reacted to this. I don't want to do this because of this. Now, there are so many reasons which why I don't want to do something. And then I have to investigate. Then that it means calmness of the mind is needed. So to get to find, sift the causes. Apparently, there may be 3 causes, 4 causes. And which of them is the prominent one which is making me take one decision or not? That kind of thing requires comparatively calm and dispassionate mind. वो एक दूसरे को हेल्प करते हैं. आपने इन्वेस्टिगेट कर लिया, हाँ ये कारण है, अब आप उसको और फाइनली इन्वेस्टिगेट करना चाहते हैं. मन शांत होगा तो आप पहले सफरिंग को देखा, आपने उसको थोड़ा कम होने दिया, टेम्परेरी वो कम हो गई, तब आप और क्लियरली इन्वेस्टिगेट करेंगे. तो इसलिए देखते हैं कि आज जो मैं इन्वेस्टिगेट करूंगा वो कुछ निकलेगा, कल करूंगा उसी बात को दोबारा, अगर उसका रेजिडुअल इफेक्ट है तो आई विल बी एबल टू फाइंड आउट मोर डीपली क्या है, ये कारण भी था, ये भी था, ये भी था. So this happens when there is any major impact on the mind. We discern so many reasons for that, some of which may not be evident in the first investigation, so to say. First time when you sit with it, some things may become evident. Second time, something more deep may become evident.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.